amazing you. Welcome to Chat Hour. How are you doing? If you're returning, welcome and thank you. And if you're stopping by for the very first time, welcome and thank you. I am super duper excited as always. As you can see, I am not alone. I am with Dr. Tolu Oko-Igaire. They call her the Fixer. She is a therapist. She is a foremost sexologist. She is a counselor, and when I say counselor, she's a clinical couples counselor. She is the director, the Institute of Counseling Nigeria. Welcome to Chat Hour, Dr. Tolu. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you indeed. All right, so today we are talking about the risks of sending nudes and also getting involved in sex tapes. Have you ever been asked to send sexy photos or nudes? When you think sexting or being involved in sex tapes, what comes to mind? So many things actually come to mind, like racy, fun, sexy, even romantic. However, it doesn't even take long before the mind wanders to words like dangerous, especially these days when you have revenge porn and then you have, people actually blackmailing others for their nudes or being involved in sex tapes. And this is not even new. Yes, it's not new. It's been there forever. People have been getting involved in this, sending erotic imagery, letters, photos. The only new thing is that these days there is internet and also maybe instant messaging apps to quickly send all of these things. And a lot of people actually get involved in this. Despite the risks of being involved in sex tapes and also sending nudes is fast becoming an integral part of relationships. I think to a large extent, because you get to know a guy and before you know it, they're saying send me nice photos, and you're thinking maybe a photo where you're well dressed and all that, but that is not what he's talking about. He's actually talking about sending nudes. Yes. All right, so Dr. Tolu, I would really like to ask, because in fact, you know that recently we saw Oxlade everywhere with a dancer. Their sex tape was everywhere. And even international artist Nelly, recently too, his sex tape was everywhere. And now I really want to know, is telling people not to get involved in sending nudes, sexting, or getting involved in sex tapes the solution?
Or is telling people not to do it the solution? I don't think so. I think people should do whatever works for them.
Okay.
But I think it boils down to knowing who you are, your self-worth, your self-esteem, what you think you deserve in a relationship. I think it boils down to that. So it's not about not sending.
Okay.
It's about the kind of relationship you find yourself, whom you are dealing with, and whom you are. How is the person seeing you, and how are you even seeing yourself? Right? So I think it's something that is interesting in relationship.
It's fun.
It's fun. I think it's good. I actually recommend it for my clients.
Like, what are you doing?
Yes.
Oh, this is what I'm doing at the moment. Are you wearing stuff?
Yes.
Oh, I'm not even
I recommend it for my clients. Even married, I recommend it for them. It's from experience, it's fun. It makes things interesting. I don't think I've ever recommended this for people in relationship. Most of my clients are married, even though I have a few that are in relationship. So for the married couples, you notice that for a lot of time, they've drifted apart romantically, emotionally. So you are trying to look for things to bring those back. A lot of time they are not even having sex, they just have boring sex and all of that. So you are looking for what to do, to bring back that spark, that desire, that erotic part of them. So this is something you could actually use. This is something you could recommend for them to help them. But when you know who you are, maybe in relationship, for example, you are not just going to meet a guy and the guy will say, send me something like that. And then already that's like, can we talk? Can we even get to know each other? Can I even find out if we can flow, if you can talk to me at a level I really want, if you can hold conversation the way I really want to, before you start talking about sex. But if the person also feel like, you know what I want from you is sex, okay, so if
you have that understanding,
you have that understanding, and you just want to start having sex, and you're not worried about, oh, people could see your nude, you don't care. So if it works for you.
All right, so I know that certain people have been involved with people they thought they knew, but they did not know. People can be in relationships, or in a particular, somebody can be in a particular relationship, and I've heard of a case of, you know, the guy started threatening the girl. You know what? I am going to, if you do this, if you say you're going to walk away, if you say that you're going to do this, I'm just going to I'm going to share your nudes, I'm going to do this, started threatening the person. And I feel that, okay, at the end of the day, in fact, this girl actually thought that they had a thing, and it was mutual, and that you shouldn't even behave like that, because there are so many times.
She never saw that.
Do you understand? She never saw that coming. And in a case of, you know, somebody sharing your erotic and intimate photos, or even sex tapes that you have done with them, because some people actually enjoy filming themselves while they are having sex for them to watch later. People do it. Sometimes this is not even for them to share, but somehow they get careless. Maybe your phone gets spoiled and you have to repair, or somebody you told somebody to, or you're showing somebody something and the person goes to check other things, and somehow they have gotten something off your phone without your knowledge. I mean, so many instances like that. I mean, those are the risks that we can actually be saying that, okay, these things are actually risky sometimes. How do people begin to deal with this?
Okay, so I'm just going to say two things from what you have said. See, there's a very tiny difference between kink and paraphilia.
Okay.
Yeah, people have paraphilic disorders, and like, if you want to put a camera and then you want to watch yourself before you get aroused, or before you feel what you want to feel, before you get to the height you want to get to, it could be that there is an underlying issue. It could be a disorder, and that's what we call paraphilic disorder, you know. But there are people that, so what might be a paraphilic disorder for me could be kink for you. When it is kink, it's just like, I love to do this. Now, if it's a disorder, it affects you. Like, you cannot get aroused without that. You don't feel fulfilled without that. You don't feel you are getting anything from the sex if you don't do all of that. So that could be a problem. That could be a disorder. That could be something you should be seeing a sex therapist for. So, like, what you are considering as fun, like you are just having fun, the other person is actually dealing with a kind of disorder, or trying to feed their addiction. So you might need to find out that. That's the first step for you to really find out if you guys are actually on the same page. Because if you are not on the same page, like if somebody have a paraphilic disorder and the person is in love with you, the person should be able to open up to you. So if the person, so you could seek help together. If the person is not opening up to you and the person is using you to feel that urge, then you should be expecting that there's going to be problem later in future, right? So I think that should be established. And again, you should also know who you are. You should now understand the kind of relationship you are with that kind of a person, because like I said, in a lot of time you will see the handwriting on the wall, but you just don't want, like, it's not that bad, you know. But as soon as you start, and it also, that's where your self-worth, self-awareness, all of that comes in. You need to actually know yourself and know the kind of person or the kind of relationship that you deserve. So if you understand that, when you see those kind of handwriting, you can actually stand your ground and be like, you know what, this is not working. But in a lot of cases, because people just want to be in a relationship at all costs, they just flow along with that. So I think, as much as, just like you have said, that there could be risk, but I think the risk will be minimized if these 2 points could be taken into consideration.
Interesting. Now, when the deed has been done, you were sending nudes, sexy photos, sexting, and you have gotten yourself also involved in sex tapes, and the deed has been done. It's now everywhere. The person you're involved with has shared it, or maybe it got into somebody's hands and they have shared these nudes or your sex tape. how do you begin to handle it from there? Because I'll give you one example. Years ago, in one of the universities, there was this year 4 students that was dating a year 1 student. She thought they were on the same page, but they weren't. She was too much for the year 1 student. So you know how you want to show off to people that I am the one, sleeping with her and all that. So somehow they shared their nude or their sex tape. And the girl could not continue with school. She had to drop out in year 4 because she couldn't just face it.
Bad, yeah.
I mean, look at Tiwa Savage's incident. Look at that. She was shouting before then that you see somebody wants to blackmail me, and eventually we saw the sex tape, and I've just been afraid for her since then. Yeah, she's saying that she's okay, and she can do anything. She's an adult and all of those things. And I really do salute her courage. But I'm like, these things will always just come up. When Oxlade's sex tape came out, Tiwa Savage's story resurfaced.
Yeah.
And then I thinking,
saw it trending on Twitter, and I was wondering. Yeah.
You get.
Yeah.
And then even Oxlade, I read one of the notes with the dancer he had the sex tape with, and he was saying that, how about me, my mom, my younger sister, and all that. It's not a good situation to find yourself at the end of it, because there are some things you do and you say to yourself that I wish I was not even involved in this in the first place, because it just got into somebody's hands and then they decided to be funny with it.
Right.
When you have found yourself in this situation, how do you handle it?
Right. So we've talked about the fact that the risk will be made.
Yes.
But even as a dad, you've done all of that, and you still find yourself in that situation. What should you do? Now, bring it back to the first point that I mentioned. Yourself, talking about your self-worth, self-awareness, self-esteem, self-actualization, and all of that. And you can see if you have gotten to that level, right, and then that minimal risk still happened. Now, it will help you to be able to manage the situation better, because you should be able to get to a level where you feel like, what the heck, right? And the Tiwa Savage response to that situation is actually the right way to go. But it takes a lot.
It takes a lot
to be at that level, right?
Did I tell you that something came to mind again? Because I thought Tiwa has a son.
Yeah.
What if, with the bullies that you have in schools, what if he gets to school one day, gets to class, and somebody is just trying to bring him down, and he sees his mother's sex tape on the on the monitor in class, and everybody is laughing.
So I don't see that not happening. I don't see that not happening, especially with the way the world is even going.
Yes.
And I will probably encourage Tiwa Savage. This is a very good time to start prepping the son. Psychologically, the kind of self-esteem she has, the kind of awareness she has, that she was able to manage that. I know she went through some things, but she was able to manage that situation the same way she should prep her son psychologically, in a way that if he gets to that level, at whatever time that is coming, the boy will be able to say, what? This is one of those things. So you cannot take care of yourself mentally, psychologically, emotionally, and not take care of your child in that kind of situation. So she should be prepping that son, her son, for this, because I think it will happen. I think it will happen, right? So for people who are in that situation, I think the right thing to do is just to let go, to just feel like, after 2-3 weeks, people will stop talking about it. I know it will keep coming back,
because the internet does not forget things. I think the only sex tape that they have been able to get off the internet has been Kim Kardashian's sex tape. I think it's just Kim Kardashian's sex tape and Ray J's sex tape. They had a sex tape together, Kim Kardashian and Ray
I'm
J.
wondering, how did they do that?
I would not even know.
Even if you save it on your phone, you can't send it to another.
So I don't know how, because that era was not in fact, it is not this era. So I don't know how they were able to do it, that they wiped it off. There is no how you go on the internet. I've tried it, and you would not just find it anywhere any longer. So I mean, that's the only one that I know that they have survived in bringing up, because people have saved other people's own on their phones, on their devices, and all of those things. So there is no how you're going to take all those things, away from the internet.
Maybe the first time of dropping that, maybe there's a way to make sure people are not able to share.
What will be your conclusion? How
Okay.
can people actually know the risks that are actually associated with, sharing nudes and also getting involved in sex tapes?
Right. So like I said earlier, it's not a bad thing, depending on knowing, as long as you know yourself, the person you are dealing with, I think it's not a bad thing. I think it's something that could help your relationship, right? But know yourself. Know the person you are dealing with. Then if there is now this little risk that is still coming out of it, if you find yourself at that level, just understand that it's one of those things. And I mean, it's difficult to say that to people because you don't know their capacity to take search. And I will now end it up by saying that people should not work alone.
Okay.
I mean, work all you can, but make sure you are working with your therapist, especially a sex therapist in this kind of situation. If you find yourself in this situation, please, even if you are not in this situation, everybody needs a therapist. You might actually want to go to a therapist and, more like, how do I call it now? More like check your relationship.
Yeah.
How are we doing? How heavy is this kind of relationship that you are? Is it a relationship where you could actually be doing stuff like this? Your therapist could actually help you to analyze that relationship and be able to find out for you. And apart from that, if you eventually find yourself in that situation, you can't just be alone. You cannot. Apart from friends, family, and all of that, you need to work with a therapist. And I think at the end of the day, know yourself, know your partner, work with your therapist.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tolu. That will be your conclusion, right?
Yeah.
All right. I have been talking to Dr. Tolu Oko-Igaire. Thank you so much. It's been so wonderful doing this.
She has a
with
lot of
you.
energy.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much for watching. What exactly do you think about this video? We would like to have your thoughts down below in the comment section. Now, if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. And if you consider this video a good one, kindly smash the like button already. Thank you so much once again. Till I come your way again, or we come your way again, because you never can tell. Let the conversation continue.